On this week's episode, we have Zach Herrard interviewing David Collins, a Green Party candidate for the Senate in the state of Texas.
On this episode of Odessa After Dark, we have Zach Herrard, who has a phone interview with David Collins. Mr. Collins is the Green Party candidate for the United States Senate from the state of Texas. Election day is less than 30 days away, and Mr. Collins presents a different perspective other than the normal Republican or Democratic perspective that we're used to. So, with no further ado, here's Zach.
Many of your values and ideas seem to fit in with the mainstream Democratic Party. Don't you think maybe it'd be more effective if you worked within that party to affect change?
I can't speak for all of us, but I would say that many of us, myself included, have concluded that we cannot affect the change we want to within the Democratic Party figure. Now, there are plenty of those who are still trying. I always think about Dennis Kucinich from Ohio, who for years has been the outpost of progressivism in the House of Representatives, and have thought for a very long time, given that he's been swimming upstream within the Democratic Party, that he should just bail and join the Greens. He clearly has thought otherwise. Yes, if I were to take one of those funny little Facebook quizzes showing which candidate my ideals and issues are most in line with, it does turn out to be nearly 100% with our presidential candidate Jill Stein, and about 77% with Barack Obama, which I thought was very impressive. Right now we have a Democratic Party, however, and an establishment in Washington that is trying to take the so-called best of the Republican ideas of the last 10 or 20 years. I mean, the Democrats have now gone into the camp of advocating for cap-and-trade legislation, just to name one example. And they've actually more or less adopted the George W. Bush enhancements of the security state, including the Patriot Act, which Democrats in Congress voted for overwhelmingly without even reading. And they didn't realize they were being sold a bill of goods because that thing was crafted even before September 11th. Anything that large and complicated that is presented on the floor of either House of Congress must have been in storage, before the events that supposedly precipitated them. Just like they had the plans to invade Iraq on the drawing board well before September 11th. They weren't even going to wait around for an event like that to pin something on Saddam Hussein. They just were going to go ahead and do it. And, the process then trillions of dollars and expend an awful lot of American and Iraqi lives. Generally speaking, I think the Democratic Party has left us more than we have left the party.
And the use of the death penalty in Texas is very high. Do you feel that, do you believe this is an effective deterrent to crime?
My views in general on this are kind of evolving. I spent some time with the Journey of Hope when they came through Texas back in 1998. I missed their last time through Texas. At the time, in 98, they were pushing a sort of a compromise measure, which would be life without parole, getting rid of the death penalty. From what I have read, you can forget about the whole deterrent issue. People are going to commit these crimes with or without thinking about it very much. The capital crimes. It's really sad. What we need, though, is to create a kind of society where, A, people do not feel desperate enough to venture into that realm where they are taking others' lives, especially in the context of a drug deal or robbery. And secondly, we need to make sure that people who might be identified as having the type of social or psychological problems that would lead them down that path get the intervention that they need. Now, I'm not talking about any kind of minority report scenario. I'm just mentioning that if people need help, and a lot of these people who need that type of social and psychological help do come from disadvantaged backgrounds, We need that type of intervention. The most underserved populations in this country, as far as mental health care, are those in the less fortunate areas of our cities and towns. And part of what I have been pushing in my campaign speeches has been mental health care and mental health intervention accompanied with a massive scale of education in that field, because the great majority of these huge problems we face in the States as compared to other industrialized nations where the crime rates are so much lower is just the sheer amount of stress that we go through. We have a society that is at its root unequal, and it's designed that way. This inequality causes a certain amount of friction, and then you can use the term that has been used that got President Obama in so much trouble, which is envy and resentment. People want to climb socially. If certain legal avenues to social advancement are not available to them, then they will take the quasi-legal or the illegal avenues.
Also on your platform, you call for a universal basic income. Is this similar to the minimum wage? And can you respond to the critics who say that, requiring a living wage or a universal basic income would also increase prices of everything else?
That inflation argument has been used to great effect. In fact, it even fooled me. Back in the 90s when we had a referendum here in the city of Houston on having a higher minimum wage, they would say, for example, that child care workers would suddenly be making so much more, and so everyone's cost of child care, especially for those who themselves might be earning minimum wage or just slightly higher, would be adversely affected by this. It doesn't work that way at all, and part of the Green Party formula has to do with making sure that the extremely wealthy in particular are taxed in a proportionate way, instead of having to duck through all these, being able to duck through all these loopholes, that they can be taxed at the marginal rate that led to such great prosperity in America back in the 50s and 60s. Even if you don't get all the way up to the top marginal rate of 90%, you could at least get halfway there from where we are currently. And it would result in government and society that could provide the social services that are necessary to hold this great society together. As far as the comparison between minimum wage and universal basic income are concerned, those are not necessarily the same thing. Minimum wage has to do with work, and we do want a higher minimum wage, a living wage. It's been calculated that depending on what city you're living in, $7.25 an hour certainly does not cut it as far as the benchmark of one person being able to rent an efficiency apartment and feed him or herself with a 40-hour work week. In some of your cheaper jurisdictions, you might have somewhere between $10 and $12 an hour qualified for a living wage, but you get to your expensive places like San Francisco, Seattle, Boston, Honolulu, and you're probably pushing closer to $17 to $20 an hour. That's for work. But the guaranteed universal basic income has to do with just providing everybody with sufficient resources in order to meet their basic needs, which is something we do not have. And it's something that the major party candidates have not been talking about. They are not even uttering the word poverty, much less talking about solutions to the expanding, increasing levels of poverty and the depth and duration of poverty that we're now experiencing, or that some of us are experiencing, many of us are experiencing, and we're able to see if you actually take a look around. I live in a neighborhood here in Houston, which is not too far from being third world. You have crumbling houses, you have infrastructure that is barely adequate and blows up on a constant basis. And you also have these hugely escalating property tax rates, so that people who actually own these homes in which they live or rent them out can no longer afford to keep them, even though they may be paid off free and clear. Stuff like that is a very insidious kind of class war, and we need something to rectify that ASAP.
In your platform, you reject U.S. political support for Israel and demand that the U.S. government end its veto power in the Security Council pertaining to Israel. Why is this?
It's very brave to have that language in the platform because, of course, you always run the risk of being called Israel haters, anti-Semites, or whatever, and that's a weird kind of slippery slope when it's nothing of the kind. And don't even get me started on people who are going to start calling Jill Stein a self-hating Jew. That's the kind of hot button stuff. I mean, you used the phrase when we were talking earlier, hot button. What we're talking about here is that can be expanded, right? I have mentioned the issue of double standards in foreign policy and immigration policy in speeches that I've given. We have, just as an example of that kind of foreign policy double standard. Okay, let's just stick with Israel for a moment. Israel has been found by various bodies, both the United Nations and in the world press, being guilty of doing a lot of the same things for which we have actually gone to war with other nations or imposed diplomatic or economic sanctions. And yet we continue to fund Israel's military machine to the tune of billions of dollars per year. Noam Chomsky is one of the great names who has pointed these things out. Why is it that Israel can do this and, for example, Syria cannot? At this point, it's really hard to compare Israel with Syria as far as the atrocities that we're hearing about from Syria, but it has been going on every day for 45 years in Israel-Palestine. There's still this terrible oppression. You still have Gaza, which is essentially the largest concentration camp in the world, and I'm not afraid to use that phrase in that context. The West Bank with the separation wall is becoming an even larger concentration camp, and we hear about people being cut off from the olive groves that their families have tended for hundreds of years. We're looking at a state that simply does not want to behave in a civilized manner. This has no reflection on the people of Israel. This is no reflection on the very brave opponents of this type of behavior that have been elected to the Knesset by the population. And what we really want is to make sure that if we're going to advocate for democracy and pluralism here in the United States at any level, for any country, that it applies to even those we consider our friends.
You state you want to end the double standard on immigration policy and help develop Latin American countries. Don't you feel like this has been done before, unsuccessfully? And how do you propose to invest in a country in the middle of a drug war?
Well, let's make sure we're clear on this in particular. It isn't so much a matter of giving and having done with it. It would be great if we were just so generous that we would give money to certain Latin American countries with no strings attached. Unfortunately, what that has resulted in the past, whether it's actually giving or buying resources that they have, such as oil from republics in Africa, is you have a state that then develops its defense capabilities as opposed to developing its population. I can give one example of a parallel. In my faith tradition, which is Unitarian Universalism, we have something called the Partner Church Program, where churches in the United States, fairly affluent congregations, do not just provide a lot of money to their partner churches in places like the poorer regions of Romania, where there's an old, almost 500-year-old Unitarian tradition. It is a true partnership. We provide a little bit of money and a little bit of guidance, but there is the participation of the other church. This would also be true of our so-called client states in Latin America. We would get together not only with the government representatives, but also NGOs and just grassroots activists to say, okay, what would make it easier for you and your people to live in this country that you love so much? And with their participation, not just by suggesting ideas, but also in bringing to the table whatever resources they have, we would develop a partnership that can help these Latin American nations and their individual communities grow and flourish. When you have that, there's no need for a drug war or the civil war between the various cartels, say in Mexico, Colombia, and now Honduras. With that, you no longer have need for people to fly northward and cross great expanses of desert just on the chance that they might be able to find some sort of sub-minimum wage job here in the States, which would still be a great improvement over their lives back home. We have to get rid of the double standards on immigration policy. Fortunately, I have seen a little bit of lessening of that, but the really stark contrast is between the countries of Cuba and Haiti. For example, for so many years, just about anybody who said they were dissatisfied with Cuba, who could find themselves on a boat or otherwise get here, would be welcome and not only granted asylum, but be given a job and a role in their communities, whereas if they tried to come here from Haiti, they were turned back, sometimes even rebuffed militarily on the high seas. Why is that? Because according to the U.S. foreign policy, Cuba was a bad guy, and Haiti's government, even under the Duvaliers, was the good guy. I mean, they were what's that phrase that Roosevelt would use about Somoza? He said he may be a son of a bitch, but he's our son of a bitch. That's a phrase that you could easily ascribe even to the worst excesses of the Duvalier regimes. And Jean-Claude Aristide, who is viewed as something of a savior of his country, is, even when he's elected on a couple of different occasions, not allowed to govern because you have U.S.-backed coups that are taking him out. And luckily, again, we've seen some improvements over the last few years about that. I mean, look at Central America, for example. You're coming from Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua. Sorry, you're not welcome unless you have sufficient resources to apply for legal residency and citizenship, and that just does not describe the great majority of those migrating here.
Also, you want to change the war on drugs by legalizing marijuana. How do you feel this would help?
Not because of any personal habits of mine. I never touch the stuff. Got plenty of friends who do.
Right, and how could you kind of elaborate on how this would help the war on drugs, or
Right now, you just have to look at let's say Europe, for example. Many countries in Europe have essentially made marijuana legal, even if they still have their laws on the books. You can't really get busted for possessing a small quantity in many of the cities, especially in Western Europe. Amsterdam is the notorious example, but you could also look at pilot programs in Zurich and Lisbon. When they legalized marijuana and even some stronger recreational drugs, not only does addiction go down, but crime goes down as well, and rehabilitation and even instances of people quitting those habits go up. It has been absolutely amazing. It may defy so-called common sense, and yet it's working. I think it would work here as well. Part of the problem with the wars between the cartels and the government in Mexico is the demands of the United States, and the Central American political leaders have told us that point blank. It would be really nice if we could grow our own here legally, not just marijuana, of course, but hemp, so that we could revive our agriculture and industrial sectors. Hemp is a wonderful product with many uses: fiber, food, fuel, and of course, hemp and marijuana are just pretty much two sides of the same coin. One of them just gives you a little bit more buzz than the other. The experiments that we are seeing now in California, Colorado, Washington State, etc., with medical marijuana are bearing out the very truth that it can be used as a medicinal substance, as a painkiller, as a way of combating the nausea associated with chemotherapy and other such treatments. I've been looking into these recently circulated postings about how research in Spain has shown that judicious use of THC can shrink brain tumors. Pretty amazing stuff if it all turns out to be true. I would actually go and join not only with Jill Stein but with Ron Paul in saying that we should look into, at the very least, legalizing or decriminalizing some of the other recreational substances. Ron Paul is all ready to go ahead and open up the floodgates and let cocaine and heroin be used legally. And now, Ron Paul unfortunately wouldn't go so far as to say we should tax and regulate it, as I would. It should be made through legally available dispensaries for people who absolutely need it. With clean needle exchange and so forth, used under the supervision of medical personnel.
What would you say your personal message is to people?
My name is David Collins, and I'm a political holic. It's interesting what's been happening this year. One thing has led to another. I'm not going to go into absolutely everything, but right now my job is to run for office. I left a very good, comfortable job with the UT-MD Anderson Cancer Center. I was in information technology there, and it's unrelated necessarily to my campaigning. I won't describe the events that precipitated my leaving their employ. Suffice to say that it was becoming more difficult and stressful, and even months ago I was at a decision point where I might decide to leave and do this full time anyway and just be a fundraiser. Well, lately what it's been is I've been promoting the campaign online and elsewise and trying to raise some funds so that I can travel around the state and spread the green gospel, as it were. Background-wise, I've lived in Houston for nearly 40 of my 49 going on 50 years, though I was born in Oklahoma and spent time in my life in New Jersey, Connecticut, and California. I went to Rice University, graduated with a degree in classics, I actually wanted to be a high school Latin teacher, and I did that for 10 years, both part-time and full-time in a few different districts in Texas and Connecticut. After that, I sort of drifted for a while. I wrote resumes. I worked music retail for an up-and-coming chain, which is now extinct, and found my way into training in information technology, starting with very basic stuff, teaching absolute beginners in the business world how to use Microsoft Word, Excel, and certain products from the Microsoft and Adobe families, among other things. Gradually grew into becoming a programmer and application development instructor, but then found my way to MD Anderson, where I went from training onto the help desk, which also had its own little educational role. So at my very core, I am an educator. One of the things I absolutely relish doing in this campaigning gig is seeing people face to face and telling them that there is an alternative to the two major name brand parties. There are actually multiple alternatives. The one I have to choose is the Green Party because it resonates very well with my values. And I do consider myself a values voter, which was one of the many reasons that I could not stomach pulling the lever for Barack Obama in 2008, much less in 2012. I've been doing this Green Party organizing thing, as I mentioned, off and on for about 17 years. And as frustrating as it can be, because it's hard for us to get any traction, we can't get any media coverage, especially here in this state. The Democratic Party even is having trouble getting media coverage in this state, as you're probably aware. It is an uphill battle, but I think it's a very necessary battle. And what we hope we're doing, anyway, is laying the groundwork for a future in which the Green Party is one of the parties in a multi-party system, whether here at the state level or at the national level.